Welcome to Living Martial Arts with Master Ray Gale, aka the Dark Master. Living Martial Arts discusses and examines the everyday exercise, philosophy, and lifestyle of the martial arts enthusiast. The host talks about his own training, past and present, and he also interviews many martial artists to discover how they continue to live their own martial arts journey. Tune in for top tips on how to get the best out of your martial art. Or perhaps you're thinking of starting a martial art. This podcast offers you an easy way to dip your toe in. Sign up for the newsletter at livingmartialarts.com and get regular updates and training tips direct to your inbox. Follow the Dark Master on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Living Martial Arts.
Hello to all the Living Martial Arts podcast fans. It's Dark Master back with another podcast, another guest that we've had before, talking about the mindset of a fighter. And it's good because we've got a very successful fighter with us today, somebody who's fought in many different arenas. We've got Mr Tom Wynne, known as the Bootman, to those that know him. So how are you doing, Tom?
I'm doing very well, Ray. Thank you for inviting me back again.
Good.
Hello to all the readers.
Excellent. Well, we are we're exploring this this concept of the mindset of a fighter. I've got certain ideas about certainly my mindset when I was competing and how I tried to build that. But it'd be good to get your experiences of of maybe perhaps what you did, what you saw others do, and just talk a little bit about that. So, first of all, before we get into that, as I mentioned, you fought in many different codes of martial arts. Can you just mention that? I mean, obviously, I knew you. I knew you in many different guises, but I knew mainly as a Taekwondo fighter when I first met you. But you've been into the freestyle arena as well, haven't you?
Yes, I mean, just to do a brief, I didn't start off in Taekwondo, obviously.
Yeah.
I started off with reading books and learning from books before I even went to a class.
Yeah.
I could afford to go to a class. I had the Taekwondo Bible, I had Kushinkai, and I bought as many books as I could get at that time.
Yeah.
And I read them, and then they were like the Bible to me. So I was just reading them, practicing all the stretching, all the old-fashioned stuff, horse stands, hand conditioning. So before I was a street fighter for that. But before I even started, the first one I started was Wadarai.
Yeah.
With Taro Tama, I can't pronounce his name, Kamazawari or whatever. And he was the top technical Wadarai, one of the top instructors, unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
And in Birmingham, in a short, probably about a mile stretch, we had Peter Suzuki, Tata Suzuki, the top, his son.
Yeah.
We had Taro, that's always Wadarai. And then over the road, we had Shukakai, which was Eddie Daniels, who represented Great Britain when we beat the Japanese, with Tiki Donovan and Bill Higgins and all the top fighters back. I think it was about 1975. And then round the corner, we had Laugar, Neville Ray, Steve Babs. The quality we had in Birmingham was amazing. So when I joined Wadarai, I'd already been kind of street fighting and practicing things out, really. And I had my flexibility, and I could block, I could do all of that because I practiced everything out. We didn't know at the time with the Taekwondo Bible. We were just like, this is amazing, but we just copied it, me and my mate Oliver Kells, who's still in the TGB and that. And that's what we did.
It was a fantastic time. I mean, it's interesting because getting early editions of the popular martial arts magazines at the time, Combat and all those fighters and all those different magazines, it was actually quite noticeable. There was a lot of good competitors, fighters from the Midlands, and I with what you say, I think that then makes sense. Really, a lot of the the pioneers, if you want to call it, of karate and other arts. Actually, obviously, you did settle in the Midlands and taught the people there.
I did.
So it was great. One second, I'm just going to turn this. I've got a fan that's just come on for no reason. But so sort of moving on in the sense that this is about the mindset of a fighter. I mean, how do you see it? One of the things that I always thought to myself was that I had quite a strong mindset before I started martial arts, mainly driven by my mother. It was very strict, and I had to do what I was told to do, and I was very disciplined. So hence, when I started martial arts, I had a very disciplined mindset. And it wasn't a chore for me to get down and do the push-ups and do the burpees and do or whatever. So I sort of had quite a strong mindset, and it did develop from there. But what about yourself when you started? What about your mindset?
Very, very similar. I think some of it's to do with upbringing and where you're from. And obviously my background is Irish, Southern Irish. So like the Jamaicans, as I said before, and the Irish, they came over together and had to work hard. And that's their effort. You work hard. You don't get anything for nothing. And my mum was very strong with everything. And, sometimes someone will say, I'm not my mum, but they say stubborn. I'm not stubborn. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. There's no grey with me. There's black and white. So if I do it instinctively in my mind, like as I said, with all that training, I could do the side splits, I could do the front splits, I could do all the kick, because I have to do everything technically perfect. It has to be perfect. It has to be 70%, 30%, 50% air, 50% with the stand, the hand, the movement, the technique. I do everything technical. I need it to be technical, and I need to do it right. So my mindset was like the same as yours. When I'd go in, I'd be thinking, oh, yeah, I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
They were doing some kicks, and I think you've commented on it, I haven't had a look. I just seen a post today about Krishenko from Alfie, and I put a bit of a long thing in there saying about, it doesn't matter what belt you are, you go through the journey you've got with a belt. It doesn't mean you're a great fighter.
No.
But even back then and now, and I mentioned Elvis Parsley, he was world full contact karate champion, and he came to Taekwondo, and he was you started as you all start as a white belt. So even if you're ABA boxing champion, you come into Taekwondo, Kung Fu, and whatever it was, you'd start again. But obviously, you'd beat the hell out of anyone. So the belt, just like as old Brucey says, holds your pants up. It's what you've achieved and what you can do, but your mindset's the thing. So when I came, like you, I'd think it was going to be really hard, and I was going, this is going to get harder, all the stuff I've heard and seen. And I was fitter and better, and you probably was as well, than the majority of people there. And when we eventually sparred, I remember with the Wadarai, they said, oh, do you want to come and spar? And I was like, yellow belt. And there was like a blue or red belt or whatever. And I started sparring, and I was knocking him all over the place. And I was thinking, he should have been better than me with all the years he's been training, and he's done competition. And I knocked him out with a reverse turning kick. And then that was like, whoa, you can't do that. And I was like, well, why not? We're sparring, and my sparring was full on. It was fighting from the street. So bringing it into the the dojo or dojang this guy's trying to hit me, so I've got to hit him back. So back then, I changed a lot of things, like we just said, how calm I was and that, and I tempered it down because I just wanted to smash people in, because that's what it was. You test your power. You're fighting against another man's physical and mental. But to me, it's your mental attitude. It's 80% with whatever you do in life, whether you're working, whether you're studying. 80% is mental, preparation. The other part is the easy part, the physical side, because it doesn't matter. I mean, as I said, I just watched Benny the Jet, and he was just saying about sparring and saying like I've said this before to my students, and I've watched someone warming up on pads, and they're going, "Oh my God, I'm going to fight him. He looks fantastic." I said, "Don't worry about that. No one's hitting him back while he's doing the pads or hitting the bag. Doesn't matter how fantastic or flamboyant your technique is." Like as old Tyson said, you've all got a game plan since you get smashed in the face. Yeah. So when you get on there, and then I've like said to him what to do, and I beat him, and I go, "He was nothing, was he?" All of that was just flash. But if you can't do it in the competition or you can't do it on the street, he hasn't got the mindset. Nothing's gonna. You don't mind looking pretty and hitting that, but when someone's hitting your back, and Benedict was saying it's okay doing all these techniques, the same thing. And I thought, this is something I've been teaching, they've said for years. But you have to, it's the art of war art, isn't it? So when you're fighting, you have to get that pressure that someone's going to knock you out or hurt you. So if you don't train that way and get accustomed to it, you might as well just do pretty techniques because you're not going to achieve anything. So you have to get your mindset.
No, I get what I'm alluding to now, and I get all of that. What I'm alluding to, and I'll give you an example of myself really, because I had a strong mindset, but I needed a stronger mindset basically. And the way I looked at it, I can't remember when we talked last time. And I know I've said this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
One of the things that I used to do was I used to do things that I used to think my opponent wouldn't do, and like go out running at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I remember getting up at 3 o'clock in the middle of the morning once.
Yeah.
You got a big stretch of it's open land. It's actually a load of football pitches on a Saturday, or Durham Downs. It's just basically huge bit of grassland. I remember getting on there at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and just sprinting, doing work, doing push-ups. And in my mind, I was thinking, yeah, my opponents, they're not going to be doing this. So when I stepped on the ring, I felt strong because I looked across and thought, no, you didn't do that. You wouldn't have done that.
No.
And that for me was my mindset and how I.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's how I got stronger. So it was that type of thing. And I can think of some other instances as well, perhaps I can mention, but yeah, I don't know whether there was anything that you did like that or.
Yeah, exactly the same. The thing is, I had the mindset that if I do something, it's got to be 100% all out, whatever it is. And whatever I do, it's a bad thing in one way. If I play pool or play something, I've got to win. That's in me. I can't take that out.
Yeah.
I can't just be, it's about being part of it. Forget all that. It's about winning. There's winning, you win in life or you don't win in life. And if you don't learn that, whatever you're doing in work, in school, college or uni, it's the same principle. But same as me with my training. Like, as I said, when I came back in 2015, I've been training, fit and everything, but I hadn't sparred for like 15 years in the competition. So I went running 10 mile a day at 55.
Yeah.
And everyone was going, well, why are you doing that much? I said, because I've got 6 weeks now. All these are younger than me. They've never stopped doing whatever. I haven't sparred. So I'd go to work, run 5 mile in the morning, go to work all day, come back, 5 mile again, come back, do all my stretching, do all bag work. I never sparred anyone. I didn't have anyone to spar. And I did that for 6 weeks. And then I went to the WMO and won the 3 weight divisions with that. But my mindset is when I'm running, if I'm like, I've gone to work, like I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I go running. I've run in the snow. I've run in the rain. I've run on my birthday, Christmas. Like we had this conversation before. Every day. It doesn't matter if I'm on holiday and the heat's 40 degrees, I'll run because that's my mindset. And if I miss one day, when I get on that mat, my mind will go, you missed one running day. You're not good enough. You're not prepared to fight this man. He probably never missed a day. Yeah. He's never done that. But to get my mindset 100%, I'd have to be eating. I eat okay anyway, but I'd have to eat right. I'd have to sleep right. as we had this conversation, I'd go through the fight with that person I was going to fight thousands of times before I even got there. When I went running, we was having this fight in my head, what I was going to do. And near the end, if I felt a bit tired, which didn't really happen, I went, okay, we've got 30 seconds to go, or we've got a minute. We've just done 2 minutes or 2 threes or 3 threes. You need that extra bit in it. So I'd always do extra. I'd go over, like as I say, you go over and beyond what you're doing.
Yeah.
If someone does 100%, I do 110. If they do 110, but my mindset, like I've always said to students, if you get on a mat and you get hit in the body and you go over and you get up, I mean, we know we can get hit in the ribs and whatever, but if you go down and you're not prepared to fight that man, don't get on the mat. Because when we got on the mat, if you wasn't physically and mentally prepared with mindset training, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. So,
that's an interesting point as well. And I think that as well for me was one of the things that myself I see. And I don't know whether it was my mindset or whether it was just the fact that how I grew up. But I had a real good threshold for pain. And I remember this one particularly because it was probably one of the hardest I'd ever been hit, and it was Wayne Burnett actually, and we were in English. We're in English Championships, and from Wales, Rodney Brett from Wales, TGB.
Oh
yeah. It was a lightweight. It's probably.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I remember fighting him. And he hit me with the hardest back kick that I've ever been hit with. I was right in the corner. And I remember I took a breath in and I thought to myself, don't go down. Don't go down. Yeah. And I actually ran back to the tee, got my gloves up and just faced him and looked at him. And in my mind, I was thinking he's hit me and he knows he's hit me with a good shot. And I'm still standing. And for me, that was about building my mindset, because sometimes when I was fighting and I hit someone, I hit them hard, and I could see them, and then all of a sudden, they stop and they bent over. I thought, right, I've got you now. I've got you. So that was a real mindset game for me.
That
I love to play.
Oh,
to be honest.
Definitely. It's the same thing. I mean, I've gone to a couple of competitions with Ishmael, who I mentioned before. Yeah. And he'll go and I'll say, when you start, I said, they come up to him and they're doing the stuff we had before. Oh, you're a good fighter and all that. And I say, you can be friends with them, but don't do all the chitty chatter, I'll go away now, son. He's fighting you in a minute. So we're coaching him. So nice, we'll see in a minute. And then I'll go, forget all that flirting stuff and your mates and that. You can be after, but you're going on the mat and you're going to fight. So what you've got to do now is you put your authority on him now. You show him your power from the first bell. You smack him with a side kick. Jam him and bam him, I call it. Smack him with a side kick, then follow, crash, hit him with a punch, ridge hand, whatever it is. But hit him hard. And then their mindsets, if they're strong, they're going to go, if they're strong, they're going, okay, that's how you want to play it. Let's go for it. So you'll see what their reaction is and you'll be controlling that fight, because either they'll get angry and they'll just lose it and come at you, and then you can just, like, work in an Xbox, do whatever you want with them because they're not thinking. If you hit them and they've gone down, you hit them again. You hit them strong. Unless the ref's disqualifying you morning, I always say the body, because you can't get disqualified you shouldn't be able to get disqualified if someone cannot take a body shot. Yeah. Knocking someone in the face, they can play and do whatever. But the strong side kick, back kick or whatever will drop your opponent. So, and then you'll just see, everything go out of them that can walk, pace up. I mean, they make me laugh. They pace up and down the mat like there's something, jumping up, do all this, dancing stuff like, tapping hands and what, like they're getting on the dance floor. As soon as they're it, they're like, oh, they don't want any of it. That's just all the same as hitting the pad. Look at me, I can walk up and down the mat. Yeah, but can you fight? You're wasting all that energy going up and down there. What's all that about? They're following all the American stuff. And then you laid on him, and people can hear me when I'm coaching, when they come in. There could be 6 matches, you'll hear me, because I'm always shouting. And then I'll be like, and I love the taekwondo part, when you kick them off the mat and they bring you back where you kicked them off. And I'd go, just kick him off again. Even if you're on the corner, just keep kicking him off. That's 2 points. He's gone out, there's 3 points. I'll stand there all day just kicking them off with a side kick, because you haven't had to work from one side of the mat to the other to push him off the mat all the time. When you come back to the mat, you've got to go again or move round. But once you've kicked him off the mat and he's on the corner, he's on the corner. So you just smash him off again. And then I'll go drop him. And then you'll get referees, there's no need for that. No need for what? If you can't take a body shot, he shouldn't be on here. So, and his coach, who sees him in pain, should take him off, because he's going to get hurt. Don't keep pushing him out. Go on, son, because he's not the one taking it. And that's what frustrates me with some of these coaching, because it's like if I ref a fight and then someone's just outclassed and getting hurt, and the instructor's like, go and get in there, son, go on, like that, because I haven't got a clue. I will stop the fight, go up to the coach and say, he's not fighting anymore. It's not your ribs that are getting smashed in. He's getting smashed here. Them kicks, he's going to have no ribs. He's got to get up for work tomorrow. He's outclassed. So he's getting smashed. So I will just take him off. And I'm not bothered about what the coach is. You're as a ref, as I say to people, you're looking after the fighters. So you don't let them, you don't stand there and watch them beating the hell out of each other. You break it up, because it's a brawl, because there's nothing clean to worth scoring. And you don't let one just get demoralised, outclassed and hurt. They could have a broken nose because you haven't stopped it. The guy's going to carry on if he sees that. I've done it with some fights. I've been looking at the ref going, you need to stop this, because I'm just going to keep smashing him in the ribs. He's going to be seriously hurt. You'll be calling stretchers out and everything. It's wrong.
Well, what I was going to say as well, but what if they haven't got that mindset? Can you coach it? This is the other thing as well, because I've had a few fighters in the past where I thought to myself, I'm not quite sure if they've got what it takes, or they can develop what it takes. And I've worked hard. I've told people to go home, look in the mirror, and keep repeating, I'm good and I can do this, and just as a mindset thing to try and instill it in their brain. But I've also had really good fighters who are in the school and they're just wiping everyone out, and as soon as they go on the mat, they can't do it.
It's exactly.
So it's really interesting. So I don't know. Do they have to have it? Can you coach it? And then what are your thoughts?
Well, I have kind of, the thing is, you've got to have the person with your same mindset that they want to do it, commit to it fully. I mean, I've got people, and they go, I want to do this. And can I come running with you? And say, okay, come 6 o'clock in the morning. What do you mean? That's before work. Yeah. If you want it, you've got to put the work in. And I had a girl, Liz Buckley, that I taught. She didn't know anything. And then she won everything in the freestyle. She won the MAI, the FSK. We were invited. Well, we went to the squad training for the ITF in Reading. And basically, they said, anyone come just taekwondo and comes to squad training. If they're good enough, they'll go. So we went, and she just destroyed all their ladies, knocked them all over the place, won all the championships. Ricky R came up to us and going, oh, she's a great fighter, brilliant. I love watching her fight. he knew he wasn't with them because I wasn't part of anyone. I was just my own club, come game. And then she got selected to go to the European Championship 1999 in Rimini, and I went. And then I was an assistant coach, but there was all the politics going on there. I mean, it's still the same today. And then I went to Argentina with her, and we went to the World Championships in Argentina. And then, she just smashed it. But she was probably 6.5, 7 stone, wringing wet. Looked nothing if you looked at her. But when I did demos and she sparred, she'd be smashing the big guys in the nose with a turning kick, hook kick, a power, because I've always demonstrated that it's the technique, the mindset, and the power. And if you believe, you can have that mindset, but you have to believe in yourself. Same with Ishmael, I kept telling him, all these techniques, and these combinations, go out there, show your stuff and do it. Don't get into a brawl, don't do that. The beauty of the fighting is that I try and do is you make it so people go, look at that guy, wow. Doing double side kicks, he's doing spinning, he's here, he ain't stopping, he's clean. And you don't need to be a martial artist or referee to realise that someone has absolutely blitzed someone with everything. And wow, that's better than watching brawling. So one of the tournaments I got there and he'd lost the one fight. And then I went, okay, this is what I want you to do. I said, don't worry about winning and losing. Just go out there and throw all the techniques I tell you to do. You can do them, you practice them. But if you don't practice them 100 times, 3,000 times in the gym and actually hit someone, you're never going to use them because you haven't got the confidence. But as you know, as soon as you practice some techniques in the gym, they're going, oh, I'm missing with that reverse turning kick. I'm missing with that axe kick. As soon as you hit someone, you're like, whoa. And then you've got that confidence. Oh, if I get in the corner, shall I do an axe kick? No, I'm going to do one. Whoop, bang, guys out on the floor. That's how you build your confidence, and your mindset will change because you walk on the mat, and if you're prepared for everything and show everything you do, whether you win or not, and there's still the biasness with reffing, which is unfair, and we've always lost through the years many good competitors that have just said, you know what, sod it. And then that day, I just said, go out now, side kick, reverse turning kick, when you finish, ridge hand, do your 360 turning kicks, all these flash kicks you do. Don't matter if you miss. People will look at you and go, they'll always remember you, whether you win or lose. And then when you come off, they're all going, you won, now going, awesome, man, I didn't know you could do that. And I said, I knew he could do it. You know you can do it now. That's how I want you to fight.
Yeah.
And that's what you should do. It shouldn't be thinking combination 1, 5, 6. When I fought, it was that fluent, and the same with you. You didn't have to think. You. When I look at some of my past fights, I'm looking and thinking, how did I do that? I don't even remember that. Because
a lot of that's prep, though, isn't it? A lot of that.
You don't think, if, like as Bruce said, you feel because you just fight.
Well, a lot of that is preparation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that can build your mindset as well, in the sense that if you prepare well, and you know that you're fit. Again, the odd occasion where I was carrying an injury, but I did it anyway. But I knew deep down that I wasn't capable of doing a couple of things that I normally do. I think having good prep.
But it's still that belief, isn't it? Because you can have good prep, but if you don't practice, because I said your training ground and your practice is in your dojo, wherever your art is, that's where you do it. You practice. When you spar, if you start beating the hell out of each other in your class, or you're just going to stand there throwing right hooks and going, you're not going to learn anything. But I think the best type of sparring to promote that is in Taekwondo, when we had 1-for-1 sparring. Yeah. Because it builds fitness, turning kick, and you're going backwards and forwards, but you're not getting hurt. You're not getting smashed. So you'll do a jumping reverse turning kick and it'll be light. But then all you do is transfer that in to win your spar into a competition, and you just hit them. Because everyone said to me, how did you fight in all these disciplines? How did you adjust? I went, easy. Punches touching them like a fastest gun. Continuous is supposed to be the same, but continuous, you go all for the 2 rounds. You don't just stop. But we know it was a lot more than that, and you were hitting people. And full contact is you hit them. There's no difference. So it's easy. I don't get it with some people. I go, I can't do continuous. Why can't I do points? Well, all you do is you do more work and you probably hit harder. And if you do full contact, you hit as hard as you can.
Just keep it going. I mean,
the same techniques. It's no difference, is it? A side kick in points, continuous, full contact, K1, it's exactly the same, isn't it? It's the power that you put into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one to sort of quantify with the mental toughness, because I think the time where I've needed it the most is when I've gone in there and haven't done well. Even if I've won, even if I've won, I've come off and I thought, didn't really deserve that.
No.
You know, and I think having that attitude made me better, because I thought, well, yeah, you won it, but actually, do you know what? You could so have easily have lost that. It was close. What can I do better? And I think having that sort of attitude of
that's right.
Just thinking rah, I won, but actually analysing yourself also is something that can build your that mental toughness.
Have you ever, because I can see where you're coming from, that won a fight because of your name?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because we've seen all that all the time, which is unfair.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then you've come off. I mean, I haven't had it because not being whatever, but I've always had it the hard way where, I've got to beat someone 3 times, wherever they are to get.
I've had it the other way as well, by the way.
But that,
I've had it the other way in the early days, but I think that's sort of breaking through. But I think, when you come off and think, I didn't really deserve that win, or maybe you won, but you made hard work of it. And I'm just thinking myself,
I've had the opposite side where I've won, and it wasn't like, as I said, I've never had the flip climb of the side to Bootman or whatever, and I would never want that and then I've come off and gone, you know what, that wasn't good enough. I could have done more. So you go, or you look at a fight, and some people go, oh, that's a fantastic. How many kicks did you throw there? And I look and go, you know what? Because I've never satisfied. That's the problem with anything I've done with it. Even though people say, "Oh, that's brilliant," I'll still pick a loophole and go, "Why didn't I just do that there?"
But isn't that?
And I'll go, "Okay, next time, this is what we're going to drill, and you're going to do this." And that's. I mean, I do it like as when I look at my old stuff. It's like that taekwondo one you're looking at. It's pretty ragged and rough in it, the techniques and everything. And then you evolve on, and then many years later, you look at that. Like I look at myself and go, "Well, where did all that come from?" And that's from you chopping and changing and not staying the same. And that's why I said when the techniques are just flow, but every technique in the book. So. Going back to Ishmael, when we went to a tournament the other week, it was the Liverpool one we're going against it. And he'd had a bit of a rough one with the one fight. And he fought this other lad, and it was very close, but he keeps getting into brawling. And I've said, knock it on the head. Just pack it in. I'm not watching you and coaching you fighting like that, because you've got more skill. If you fight that man's fight, you're going to lose it, because that is now your fight. You just look. That say, look at them two brawling. But if he's brawling, you're at him with a jump turning kick in the head, axe kicks, and everyone's going, whoa, look at that. And when he come off, I went, you know what I would have done? And I said, and I just tell people straight, I said, you never won that fight. You didn't do enough. And you should give that guy that medal because you don't deserve it and you never won it. Because I don't go, oh yeah, you were fun. No, you wasn't. You come off, you get told what you're not doing, what you're capable of doing, and you know you are because you've showed it a couple of months back. And when he was losing in Wales and I wasn't there with his father was on the phone. Oh, I don't know, he's, all this, really stressed. I said, look, I put him on the phone. I said, how you fought 2 weeks ago on the Sunday. I said, I don't care if you're losing the first round. Just go out there and do it. People will admire what you're doing, whether you win or not. That's how I want you to fight, and that's how you're going to win. Not fighting like me with the techniques you like that you're putting together. And then his dad rung me up and I said, thanks, Mr. Wynne. He said he won. I said, I knew. I got every confidence in him. I don't blow smoke up his backside. I'll tell you if you're not working enough or you need to work, because that's what you're going to do. You can't send people in and go, yeah, you're going to win this, and they get demoralised. And you're like, why is my instructor doing that? Because they haven't got a clue what I'm about. They're just taking the money off you from training and they're not teaching you.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to if you've got any links to that young man. I'd like to see him. You've mentioned him a few times.
Yeah, I'll get his dad. I've got a couple of videos. He's coming on really well.
Yeah, it'd be good to see.
I think he's only like 15.
Are you talking videos or that's old school, isn't it? You mentioned you got a couple of videos.
Other words, YouTube and all of that.
You're showing your age there, Tom, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm only 20. Age is just a number, I remember that.
I said that. I said something recently about I was talking about something that I had on cassette tape.
Well, I've got, oh yeah. Well, you didn't have, what was it, an 8-track or whatever? Remember them?
I did. I had an 8-track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an 8-track in my car.
Well, I'll make you laugh now, right? I've got a video player I've borrowed off Anne, and it works and that because the tapes I've got. Yeah. And then when I was doing it, I don't think she's used it for a while, and I didn't have any video cleaner. So I've been looking everywhere, and I just went I said, oh, we'll go down the road. And I'll go into Jeffrey's. It's like an old, if you want it, they've got it.
Yeah.
And I went up and I went, have you got any methylated spirits? And he went, yeah. And I went, and the Acock Scream around, it's pretty rough down there. I mean, you get all sorts like. And then I said, I don't want to drink it, mate. I said, I want to clean my video heads. And he went, I will suit you, mate, son. All the other stuff for the painting was there, £2.50. There's a litre of this. And I was like, it's £4.50. I only want to use that much, on a cotton bud. And then I walked over to the counter and have I got any more of this?
Well, people won't be able to see this because this is going to be a probably audio, but that there is a videotape, a video recorder. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got it here, looking in front of me.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do, if I can clean the heads, I will video some of your fights off the Clash of the Titans and send them. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you very much.
As I said, there's no software now I can do it. There was a disc that go in your laptop, but they don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of people going on about fights and that.
Yeah,
but I mean, going back to the mindset. I mean, my mindset. I mean, I'm not bothered how people take this, but my mindset is that I can't be beat, even if I'm not winning a decision. I can't be beat. I can't be hurt. I can't be knocked out. I've never been knocked out. I've been hit hard. As I said, I sparred Bill Wallace in a room in 1986, and I was having a bit of a play round sparring. I was like 69 kilo. He'd got to be about like heavyweight, and he punches and kicks. And just before then, he'd done an exhibition bout with the great Joe Lewis, and they beat 7 bells out of each other. And he smashed me with this up, like, full on. He wasn't playing. He doesn't spar. One smashed me, and I thought, what's going on here? We're supposed to be having a little spar to see how we are, to do the show.
Yeah.
And then I think that's my mindset. if I got hit in the body and went down or was knocked out, I'd be like, how did that happen? That's never, my mindset is it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to get knocked. Because people say, why have you had the teeth smashed out or your nose and a jaw broken? Because I said, it's about giving, not receiving. And the idea is try and block, and move round and score. But as I said, I never lost it. I just used it as a game to, it's someone with treble sidekick and a jumping back kick. Like, yeah, that's what I want. But I don't have to lose it or whatever, because you've got to be in control. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I first
just before you say that, I think it's just to put a T on across that. It's just having confidence in your own ability. But go on, and go for your story. Go for it.
When I said I was roughing and that, when I did a competition with Lau, I got disqualified. When I was with Master Donnelly and I was in the club, they put me into the team, the colour belt teams. And I think we fought Warwick, and I think now remembering, it was Mick Keogh. And then we were sparring away. I think it was him or his brother. And I was like beating him. I felt like I was up on him and that. And then I think he hit me with a tourniquet, hit me with something. And then I went street fight then. I just went, boom, chin red. And I was just smashing him. Hit him, got him on the floor, and I was pounding him. You imagine this at the Church you be. Full about team, smashing him on the floor. And then Master Roy Fanthorpe was reffing. So he grabs me. I do nothing but turn, and I'm going to smack him one because it was like I'd just gone. And then a couple of weeks later, there was a grading in Birmingham. So I went into the toilet before it was going on. And then I'm talking to one of the lads, like in the cubits, and I went, you won't guess, that the ref, his ears on the grading panel. I don't stand a chance. He come out the cubits and he went, all right, son, how are you? I went, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. And I thought, and he walked out and I went, that's me done. But he never let me fight in the team again. He wouldn't, and he just drilled it into me. You don't want to do what he did. You don't want to do it. And I was like, really, you got to stop this now. And he went on for years. And then when I did the black belt the colour belt teams, I was the captain. Guess what? We won. We won. We beat Warwick in the final. And Master Oliver was like that. And I was going, yeah, there you go.
Well, I was going to say it's nice chatting because some of these names that we recall, like Mick Keogh, the only person I can see who consistently scored with a front kick. In my taekwondo. Yeah. Tell you what, that was quite interesting. But hey, we're coming towards the end of this this podcast, which has gone very quickly again, as it always does. It always. I'm sort of mindful of the time, but I don't know if there's one thing. Well, maybe a number of things, but the main thing that you could mention to some of the people listening in developing their mindset. What would you say? A major thing of that.
I think, as I said just a little bit earlier, you've got to practice what you preach. You've got to do everything you can. Don't just stay in the box of whatever you are, taekwondo, kung fu. Branch out to things. Look at other techniques. Train them, whether they don't like you training them in the club anymore. Like if you do it in another club, I think that stone age is gone. But if you go to a freestyle tournament, do it, because that's the best way you evolve. If you put yourself in a box, you're just going to be a one-trick pony. Now, people say to me, like, I've been asked again, quite honoured, to do the martial arts show in Doncaster in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like masters or legends or all of this and that. And I don't buy into that, because if someone said, oh, you're a legend and all that, I go, look, I'm not. I'm the same as you. You're following the same route as me. We've all had different journeys. I did this for me, not for anybody else. So you don't have to bow down to me and go, whoa, the Bootman and that. Yeah, it's nice to get some appreciation, but I'm here to pass some knowledge on to you. So I'm doing a seminar. Cynthia Rothrock's on there.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I saw some advertisements for that, and maybe we can put a link to that as well in the show notes.
I will do.
Yeah, I saw that Cynthia Rothrock. Yeah, I met Cynthia Rothrock first time. It was 1984, actually, in Los Angeles. But when she was just getting into films. But anyway, that's another beside. Go on.
Well, I've got the uncut version of the Geeko show that I was in, and Mags was watching that last night.
Yeah.
When she was, so I'm really looking forward to meeting her.
Yeah, it'd be great.
But going back to what you said, it's do everything you can, like as we said before.
Yeah.
I bought this thing, and you got a ballerina on it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a stretch pulley. That's on.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
My hang-up bar now.
Yeah.
You know, to do different stretching and that. Try everything, whether it's football, whether it's cricket, gymnastics. You'll find different techniques for stretching and strength and conditioning. That all adds to your game and you training and working. But you can, as I said, if you practice all your techniques, you spar, and you have got the confidence and the ability, you can do it. But again, like you said, you've got to be able to take a shot, to give a shot. But I don't mean someone hits you 3 times and you hit them with one, because that isn't the way it is. You've got to have that grit in you, like we have, that I'm not going to get beat, I'm not going to get hurt. It's not arrogance, it's not confidence. It's just, you know, that that's your mindset. If you get hit, okay, I've been hit, I'm going to hit you back harder. Or if you've hit me with one shot, people kind of go, oh, he's got 2 points. Yeah, hit him with 3 points. You're one up. Don't think like that. Don't think I've got to get this, I've got to get that. So it's doing everything 110%, believing in yourself, practicing it, and whatever, you know, see it, believe it, achieve it, isn't it? You know, you can do it.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks ever so much for that. Again, if you can stay on the line afterwards, I just want to say thank you, the people listening here, thank you to Mr. Tom Wynne, a.k.a. the Bootman, for sharing some of those insights as well. And hopefully we'll be chatting to him again on some other aspects of martial arts very, very soon. So I'd just like to say thank you very much, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. And pleasure returns back to you.